Hey everybody, Joker Folie à Deux. Everybody fucking hates it. Let's figure out why. I'm saying I don't think that it's that bad, but welcome to Vouch for Me. I'm your host, Eric West, and with me we have PapaNasty.
Hey.
And of course, Abraham Lincoln.
Hello.
We went and we saw the film in theaters, and we all knew something was a little off about it, but we weren't quite sure. Was this an intentional fucking sequel? Who knows? We'll talk about it. But I do need a quick synopsis of the film. Do you want to help us out, Abel?
Arthur Fleck is in prison for the atrocities he committed in the first movie and is awaiting trial, possibly to avoid the death penalty or get it. And he is being enabled by a psycho young woman who is also in the psych ward with him, a young Harleen Quinzel.
Played by Lady Gaga, who is coercing him. And she's saying, I want to see your poker face, baby.
I want to see your Joker face.
Oh, there we go.
Wait a minute. Just wait for the edits. Oh no, the edits are coming before we know it. This was actually PapaNasty's pick. So tell us about that, bud. Did you like the first one? Did you like Joker, the first movie?
The first one, it took me a minute to appreciate at first. I was like, what the fuck was that? That was a terrible depiction of Joker. I think me and you talked about it. You cried during the first one. And then, I watched it for a second time. And, I didn't think it was that bad. And then a few more times after that, I'm like, okay, I like the first one. But this one, holy shit, did they just do a total disservice to the first film.
There's no number of rewatches for this one that's going to salvage it, I feel like.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Well, there it is, guys. There's the episode. This movie has no fucking hope.
All right, see you guys.
What do you do?
Do you vouch for me? Let's just get it over with.
Mama Nasty liked the first one, and she was like, okay, we'll go see it. And she was like, I'm not too sure. She heard it was a musical. I'm like, no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Like, it'll be fun. We're in Miami. We're having some drinks, and I'll take you out to a nice dinner. We'll see Joker 2. And yeah,
there is no amount of booze to make this movie even better. Right now, if you guys want for reference, 33% on Rotten Tomato and everywhere. And that's
it's still dropping.
Yeah, it's still dropping. That's critics and, general viewership alike. And a lot of people are like, well, maybe it's just hate for the movie. Maybe because it's a DC movie. Maybe this movie was made for moviegoers, not DC moviegoers. It's like, no, maybe this movie was made like shit. I'm sorry, Todd Phillips, but he is the director of this film. He directed The Hangover. He's directed a handful of great things, but people are trying to argue, well, you know what? The original movie, Joker, is reminiscent of Taxi Driver. It even has Martin Scorsese as one of the producers kind of thing. So it's like, well, maybe this is going in a completely different direction. Anyways.
I wanted to add in, there was this comment I saw, and it might have some validity given his filmography. But someone's like, I think Todd Phillips just cannot make a sequel to save his fucking life. Because, like, The Hangover 1, great. Hangover 2, it was just a rehash of the first one. And then The Hangover 3 is like, I feel like we're watching a different franchise at this point.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
That's Joker here. Joker, great start. Okay. Yeah, nothing groundbreaking, but it was a solid movie in its own right. And then Joker 2, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And the rest of his filmography, he has no other sequels to.
Mm. He doesn't even like Joaquin Phoenix doesn't do sequels to films.
I don't know. Joaquin Phoenix, the more I hear about him, the more pretentious he sounds.
Don't you shut your trash mouth. You don't diss Joaquin Phoenix there, Mr. Abel. M. Lincoln.
I used to like him in a lot of his stuff, but late in the last year or two, just the more I find out about him, the more he just sounds like a jackass.
Well, I mean, he's an actor. They're all jackasses, but I feel like he's like the least jackass.
Well, he's a method actor, so he's like a special jackass.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good time to bring up, since we are talking about Joaquin Phoenix, you can love him, you can hate him, but let's talk about the fact that Phoenix actually developed the screenplay for a detective love story with Haynes and Raymond, which was going to be what were we calling it, like a gay romance detective movie. But allegedly, he dropped out 5 days before they were going to start filming. They had already made sets and everything. And there's rumors that it was potentially he was uncomfortable with the film's graphic sex scenes. But this ties back into him being a method actor because he realized that he was going to have to actually go out and fuck some dudes.
He'd have to be gay to play a gay dude. And that's where he drew the line.
He's like, I'll do anything in this goddamn world for a paycheck, but don't you dare.
5 days before shooting, like, I'm not like super well versed on filmmaking, but I'm under the impression that that is like so last minute that's not even fucking okay.
Well, it's frowned upon. I'm sure he was sued.
I read that like essentially they said it's so last minute that they basically have to just junk the whole movie because they already like got all the promotional materials and everything ready. They just needed to release them and shit.
So was Phoenix going to be a bottom or a top?
We'll never know.
Dun, 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 dun. If we ever have him on the pod, we'll have to ask him. Like, what happened?
Hey. Yeah, and then he's gonna beat our ass, or at least try to.
He's going to shoot us in the fucking head.
Yeah, I know, exactly. You're gonna get what you fucking deserve, you bastard. But yeah, going back to our discussion on Joker 2, even I think maybe I briefly mentioned it, but Taxi Driver's writer Paul Schrader, he walked out of Joker 2 and he literally came back and he sat down for 10 more minutes and then he left again. He's like, fuck this movie. This is trash. So people that are trying to defend this movie saying maybe the original Joker was based off of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, and this could be a sequel to one of those two movies. The original writer of one of those movies said, no, the narrative's not compelling. The characters suck ass. Fuck you. But aside from what all of these people think, what do you guys think? I mean, we'll save the vouch for later, but ultimately, is this a good movie? Help me out here. This is too philosophical, I guess, but you guys help me out here.
I'd say no. Some people are saying, it is worse than Madam Web, and at that point I'm going to say, I think you're overreacting when you say it's worse than Madam Web, because I have seen far worse movies than Joker 2. So y'all are overreacting a little bit, but man, is it a major disappointment. As a follow-up to what is arguably one of the better comic book adaptations, and adaptation is kind of a loose term to have come out in recent years.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the Joker 2 was that it did have some pretty interesting scenes, and it did like captivate you for some of the film, but then just lets you down. You know, you think you're gonna have these great scenes, and there's gonna be, and then you have these shit, like it doesn't know if it's like a musical or if it's a movie, if it's supposed to be like the cinematic masterpiece. Because the musical scenes, I mean, we didn't need all that. We could have had like 50% less the singing if they would have and they would have done them like a little bit more properly and like less fucking. I feel like it was just too much, and the scene was off. I know that was a weird thing. Like, I don't know what they were trying to do in some of the scenes, but yeah, if they would have just cut back on the singing, Madam Web was terrible. Holy, like, I watched half that and was like, no, I had to walk away. The problem is that from the beginning it's garbage. At least with Joker 2, there's things that captivate you, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be really good, and then it's just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, well, when it comes to the musical numbers, I just want to talk about it. I respect the idea that they're introducing this fantasy concept, that maybe he's living a fantasy as opposed to his reality, and they're doubling down on it with the musical numbers, and that's real cool. But take away the musical numbers, and boy, what do you get? Like a fucking, what do you get? Like a 50-minute movie? It's like you don't have enough. You don't have enough narrative to back up what the fuck you're doing here.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. Like, it's just kind of day in, day out of court proceedings and him being enabled to be the Joker when he knows he probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, this film was clearly a cash grab, and I think they thought that the audience was just gonna jump on this, and that we'd just be dumb enough to be like, "Oh my god, it's the joke." It's just like it's gonna be so good, and they're hoping to make this big money off.
Whoa! Correction. We were dumb enough. We literally talked about it for weeks before it came out. We said, wow, it's going to be so good.
Todd Phillips did say Arthur Fleck is not the Joker. Maybe the real Joker was the people that bought the tickets to see this movie in the first place.
Yes. Oh my God.
How do you feel about that, PapaNasty? Todd Phillips has kind of come out and said from the beginning, he never intended for this to be the Joker. What if this was a Joker, and maybe he could be the inspiration for the modern day Joker? How do you feel about that?
I like it, but just don't call it the fucking Joker then.
No, it's called Joker. It's not called the Joker.
It's kind of like I never watched the series in full, but I watched part of it. But it kind of reminds me of what they did in Gotham, where they set up this guy to be Joker. Oh, actually, he's not. But he does have a psycho twin brother that looks exactly like him, and he becomes the Joker.
Does he become the real Joker, or just? I thought they kept coming up with new guys who were similar to the Joker, but were never really.
So I can't remember exactly how it played out, but they didn't like him, so then they got rid of him, and then they brought back to life the original guy, and then he stayed the Joker from that point forward in the show, or some shit like that. It was really weird. Gotham was such a weird show. Like, it was cool when it was like kind of like a detective procedural with a young Commissioner Gordon and stuff, but then they had to start introducing the Rogues Gallery and stuff. But at this point, Batman's gonna be fighting like a bunch of 50-year-olds in his Rogues Gallery because he's still a teenager when all this shit's going down. You got Bane, freaking Two-Face, the Penguin, Joker. They're all gonna be full-ass adults while Batman's like 18.
That was another issue with, this being the true Joker, is it doesn't work out with the timeline in general. The timeline's all fucked up, though, because technically Harley Quinn and Harvey Dent are also shown in Joker 2, spoiler alert. So it makes sense that this is ultimately a standalone film. Maybe in James Gunn's DC universe, the Joker that they've already introduced, because you guys pointed it out to me, maybe he'll be inspired by the films or the TV spots of this fucking Joker.
Well, the Matt Reeves verse is going to be a standalone universe. It's just the Batman universe. It's not going to be connected to the DCU greater universe, as far as we know.
Well, it's funny. This is not even a DC film. There's no DC.
The Warner Brothers film, right?
Yeah. There's no DC.
They're supposed to make a comic, I believe, that was going to tie into this movie, and then they never did.
Yeah.
Not this movie, but the original Joker.
Todd Phillips refused to work with DC and James Gunn specifically for the entirety of this, the entirety of this movie. He literally said, "Fuck you. I'm working with Warner Brother executives. I'm not gonna let you even tell me anything about any dumb little Easter egg or any sort of character influence whatsoever. Keep your Stan Lee ass away from me." It's like, whoa. He's not that. He's not gonna take credit for all of your designs. Come on, bud. What are you talking about?
The funny thing is, I think I remember reading that Christopher Nolan did never want to work with Warner Brothers again. So who's the smart one here? James Gunn's choosing to work with DC. This guy chooses to work with Warner Brothers. Meanwhile, Nolan's like, I wash my hands of Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers might be the recurring problem here.
The original theory that we had discussed was the first movie was never meant to be a Joker movie. I don't know if we kind of fleshed out that.
We talked about that in discussion preceding us going live, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what you had shared that information with me, so I wanted to just dig into it.
It was a common fan theory and interpretation around the time the first Joker came out, because they said it kind of felt like it was a ripoff of The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver if you made them the same movie and then just slapped a DC label onto it and called it Joker.
Oh, so you're saying if Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy had a baby and DC was watching, you know what I'm saying?
That's essentially what Joker was.
And I was watching too because I was kind of curious, but I was like, oh, that's kind of gross. And then this Walking Phoenix little Beetlejuice baby comes out and it's like, it doesn't even look like me. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But
And because of the nature of the first movie, there's also the common fan interpretation regarding this that Joker was probably never meant to get a sequel. It's just supposed to tease like a universe afterwards, but it's never supposed to actually get a follow-up. And then WB decided they want to hit the print money button, so they greenlit a sequel for this. And Todd Phillips doesn't know how to make a sequel, and so this is what we got.
Can you imagine the money they were supposed to make here is literally verbatim. All they did was burn money on this film. And so I'm just imagining the Dark Knight when the Joker is burning all that money and he's
it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. But what was the message?
I know, Todd Phillips. What was the message?
The message was he was not the real Joker. They've gone full damage control right now, just trying to explain, like, people don't like the movie because they just don't get it. And, like, it doesn't mean that it's not a bad movie. You could show me Birdemic or something right now, and I would still say it's a bad movie, even though I fully get it.
Okay, so hear me out. One of the major criticisms of this film is it seems like it's openly attacking the original fan base of the first one by basically doing a 180. But Todd Phillips says otherwise. But you can say one thing and the movie can show you something completely different. The first movie hyped up anarchists. Some people are saying incels, that sort of thing. I don't know if it went that far, but it definitely hyped up civil disobedience, the concept of you know, hey, like she says in this movie, Harley Quinn, she says, every day I would watch Murray on TV and I hated him. And I was like, man, Joker should shoot him in the face. And he did. And she was so happy. And it's like, so they're hyping up that anti-society. But then in this movie, he grounds it and he says, no, if you try to be anti-society, then you're gonna face the music for your crimes. Now you guys are all, dude, this movie's thought provoking. See, you're over here. You're being provoked.
I can get behind one of those fan interpretations, or at least what Phillips is trying to say. Like, I can understand like where he's coming from, but like from the narrative standpoint, it still doesn't quite make sense. But anyways, my point is, Joker, at least Arthur Fleck, is really just some dude. He's not like some messiah who's gonna revolutionize Gotham by eating the rich and shit. No, he was some dude who's down on his luck, who's not all right in the head, who managed to get a hold of a gun and he shot some guys. He was gonna commit suicide on live TV, but because Murray was making fun of him on live TV, he quickly changed his plan and said, you know what? Fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill him. And that was not because it was this eat the rich, fuck Gotham type deal. He was like, no, he just had it out for Murray specifically. It was not some grander message to the anarchists in Gotham that started a riot afterwards. No, even when they like picked him up in the street and started worshiping him, he kind of was like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna be like, hey guys, you love me, right?
Yeah.
He didn't like give any grand old speeches or anything. He's not a leader. He's just some dude that a bunch of people started rallying behind. And it's even evident in the sequel when, spoiler, because we're gonna hop all over the movie anyways, the bombing at the courthouse, and he escapes, and then one of his followers grabs a hold of him and helps him escape. But then Arthur's like in like his panic and confused state. He's like, where are they taking me? Where are we going? I don't want to be here. And so he just hops out of the car and just leaves. And then he starts running down the street because what do these guys want to do with them? They're like rescuing him like he's some kind of, I don't know, savior or something. I don't know. That's my 2 cents that I've got at the moment. Maybe more will come to me as we go along.
No, I seriously like where your head's at, especially where you're saying he's not the Joker. He's just some guy. They pasted this on him. You know, he was not a message. He was not sending a message to the anarchists of Gotham or the anarchists of fucking the world, you
Real
know?
world.
Yeah. The first movie was not supposed to inspire anarchy. And I never thought that it did. I just thought it was an interesting movie. You know,
if it did, it was a very, very small minority because I never really heard anything about it.
No one put on a clown makeup and started fucking riots in the street after seeing the movie.
There are like some edgelords on the internet who do like idolize the Joker, at least the idea of him. But that's another discussion we can hop onto in a bit.
I think it's because around that time there might have been some shootings or something like that. That's why that when it first came out, people were like, "Oh my god, this condones gun violence." And
I mean, a little insensitive comment, but there's been shootings ever since, and it has very little to do with the movie.
But if I remember correctly, that there was some stuff going on that when that movie was released, people were just like, "Oh, you know," they thought it was just going to provoke more violence, and so that's.
I think it was the media shit stirring, and they were so disappointed when nothing actually happened.
Yeah, Joker is, yeah.
It's because of the Dark Knight Rises shooting. Ever since then, people have associated the Joker with that shit because the guy who did it was like some kind of weird Joker idolizer or some shit. I think like in the case they said he literally called himself the Joker.
Oh boy.
Dude, that'd be insane. Well, first of all, considering when that took place, that'd be insane if Todd Phillips was inspired by that. I know that's crazy to say. Okay, I know it's crazy, but I'm just saying, how fascinating would that be? He's over there filming the fucking Hangover 1 or 2, whichever one he was on. And then he was like, fucking whipped out the pen when he heard about it. And he's like, I'm about to rip off Taxi Driver right here, right now. If he would have made him a redhead, it would have been a dead giveaway. But I love our discussion here, guys. I do want to talk about just a little bit of production. The most fascinating thing to me was, more often than not, when they do musicals, they record it separately and then the people will lip sync to it. They actually sang these live, and they had a pianist off screen that was playing. I don't know what the point of that was. Kind of give it that more real feel or something.
Can't knock them for that though. Like, they cooked in some places. I thought Like, some people don't like musicals. I kind of dig musicals a little bit, but
I do.
I thought the musical numbers were well done, regardless of how much they actually added to the movie.
I could use less of them.
Yeah, like they were kind of superfluous and not necessary to the overall narrative, but like I thought they were well done for what they were.
Dude, wait till I make you guys watch Wicked. Then then PapaNasty is gonna change his tune. He's gonna show up. He's gonna show up with his little Glenda good witch crossbody bag. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. If Wicked's good, I'll dress up. I'll do a full. I'll go green for it if it's good. If Wicked's bad, you gotta wear a dress, Eric.
Both of y'all can be the Wicked Witches for Halloween.
Okay, so something fascinating is Lady Gaga commented on the singing required of her for the film. It was unlike anything I've ever done before. For me, there's plenty of notes actually from Lee, who was directing her. I'm a trained singer, right? So even my breathing was different when I sang as Lee. When I breathe to sing on stage, I have to control to make sure that I'm on pitch and to sustain rhythm. But Lee would never know how to do any of that. So it's like removing the technicality of the whole thing and removing my perceived art form from it all and completely being inside of who she is, who is living in a fantasy, because both of them in the movie don't actually know how to sing, but they just start singing with each other.
I see what she's trying to say. She's used to performing, and she's acted, but she's never acted and performed at the same time. So she had to remember that she's playing a character, and this character doesn't sing or dance.
I mean, I get it. You don't think it's a little too much, though?
I mean, they asked her a question and she answered it.
Yeah, it's a little, though.
I thought it was pretty fascinating. You can tell what they were going for. They were going for two dumb people in an asylum who meet each other and fall in love, and then they want to start singing, but neither of them know how, and they're trash. But they're doing it anyways, because no one can stop our love. That's pretty good, right? That was kind of like how they sing in the movie.
Yeah, pretty fucking. Yeah, I'll listen to that and fucking watch.
Yeah. Oh,
Joker 2,
okay.
yeah.
All right, dude. Now apparently we need to dub Joker 2, and then I'll be the guy. Who knew? I call Lady Gaga. I want to be Lady Gaga.
Eric, what's the difference between this Eric on the podcast and Eric in his daily life? What's the difference? What are you portraying when you're on here on the podcast, Eric? Is it the same?
Well,
Eric?
you know how it goes. I mean, really, what it comes down to is I hide all. I just hide my feelings. I just put it all aside and get a little bit of caffeine in me, and I have to turn down the gay and turn up the entertainment. You know how it goes. This movie was released on September 4th in Venice, but it actually dropped October 4th for us. It's been out for 11 days.
Yeah.
And it cost about $200 million to make, but they have only made $165 million, guys.
Jesus.
They are slow steadying. Apparently, its opening was worse than Morbius, which people like to compare to. Although this movie was slightly more entertaining to watch than Morbius, but also this movie made me way more depressed than when I watched Morbius. So I don't know which I'd take.
That is, yeah.
If only he said, "I'm the Joker, baby," maybe people would have liked the movie better.
Yeah, it's like they're both shit
it's
sandwiches.
Joking time.
But one has pickles. But you're still eating a shit sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good way to put it. And it's not even a fresh one either. It's like been in the fridge for a while. Gross. All right, disgusting.
Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. There's not a whole lot of production that we actually give a shit about, and so
Yes.
let's go ahead and break down. Let's break down the movie real quick. We're just gonna take it act by act, just to give you guys a little flavor and maybe a little bit of how we feel about everything. And so, Act 1 opens up and completely destroys the ending of Joker 1. Arthur Fleck is in the asylum, but he doesn't have his happy-go-lucky, attitude that he did at the end of Joker 1. Instead, he's regressed. He's back to sad, pathetic, dissociating in a way. I'm not entirely sure. And he has nothing to live for, which, is annoying. He's got, guards bullying him. But oh, so lucky he's going to be going on trial soon. People are trying to save his ass, which is the worst part. He has a therapist. He has a lawyer who's like, look, we're just going to plead insanity and we're going to get you the fuck out of here. You're good. Well, he falls in love with Lady Gaga, who's doing some singing in this room because she's also in the asylum. And she actually, went out of her way to meet the Joker because she wants to enable him basically and wants to hype him up and be like, put the clown makeup back on. Let's see if you can fit that horn in this little clown car. You know what I'm saying? And we're like, whoa, what are you doing there? But
there's this thing I read where like the idea behind like her character's motivation, it's not too dissimilar from, it's not a very common thing, but it's common enough that it's become like a narrative thing. Some women, usually, it can be anybody really, but like some people that tend to read or watch stuff on high profile criminals or serial killers somehow develop obsessive affections for them and actively try to seek them out and talk to them while they're in prison, usually writing them like love letters or something. That's what Harley Quinn's character is supposed to be inspired by in this film. She's in the asylum specifically because she wants to meet Arthur Fleck, the Joker, because she's actually not crazy enough to be admitted in there against her will. She checked herself in there.
That kind of reminds me of Ted Bundy, because when Ted Bundy was in prison, he met his wife while in prison, didn't he? Or something like that?
Yeah, she probably visited him.
Yeah, someone wrote to him and visited him. Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing with like all the serial killers. Like, what was it? Charles Manson. He had one of the serial killers, or one of those girls that was like infatuated with serial killers. They got married in prison. Richard Ramirez. Who are the twins that killed their parents? I forget their names. But yeah, no, there's always those psychos. So could you say then that Joker had two lovers? He had Harley Quinn and the guard?
We're not there yet.
Oh, and that's still speculation. We'll get there and we'll decide how we feel about that whole situation. But he immediately regresses. He gets back to his previous emotional heights of like, maybe I am the coolest guy in town because this is the first time I've ever had sex. And
I think that's Act 2 that happens, but okay.
I mean, what really happened in Act 1? Help me out here. I don't really give a shit. This movie sucks ass, so.
Not a lot that really goes on, honestly. It's just, he meets Harley, he's in prison. And then the second act, she visits him while he's back in his cell. She rails him a little bit, but she insists that he has to do it with his face on. So she smuggled makeup into the jail to like put on his Joker makeup. And this is like foreshadowing that like she has zero affection for who he really is. She's in love with the idea of the Joker because she couldn't give a less of a shit about Arthur Fleck.
She sneaks around so much in the film, and me and Eric were talking later on. I'm like, how did she get around the film with these guards? They just let her do what she wanted.
Well, with the reveal that she, yeah, it makes a lot of sense with the reveal.
Mm-hmm. Little sleazy.
Yeah, she's not actually a patient.
And then, they hook up and he pulls a Goku and does some instant transmission because the dude lasts like all of like 2 seconds and then
I'm pretty sure that's probably the first time he's ever had sex.
Yeah. And then he was like, I'm the Joker, baby.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he's had real sex. He's had imaginary sex like so many times as we find out later on.
He thought he was in a relationship with Zazie Beetz' character for a second.
Yeah, he's like, it's Morbin time. And then he's busts all over the place.
And then he just turns around and goes, I had a bad day.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a second.
Yeah, we all did.
But that really does put him in the palm of her hand where now they live this fantasy together of he's behind bars, but maybe at some point they'll be able to run away and have a life together. And so they start doing these musical numbers like in his head, in her head, which is really probably them singing to each other from opposite sides of some bulletproof glass over a shitty phone in the fucking 80s.
I was going to make like some stupid joke that he made rookie mistake number 1, don't fall in love with a girl just because she lets you hit.
Hey. Welcome to class. Woo, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, but yeah, that dude is fucking, yeah. But he's out there clowning. So nothing too exciting happens. He goes on trial a couple times, and they're trying to help him out, but he says, "Fuck you, I'm the Joker," and fires his lawyer. And then he tries to represent himself and does this really shitty Southern accent because he's probably saw it somewhere on TV.
Mr. Puddles.
Yeah, he decides the only guy that was never mean to him. He decides to roast him while on live television, and the guy's sitting there like as a witness. But it's so fucking bad and it's horrible. And you're like, why is he doing this? He's not helping his case. He's trying to be the Joker. And if anything, it's embarrassing. It's like he's giving the Joker a bad name at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely did not help his case at all. Because I'm pretty sure once he started doing those bits and putting on a performance in the courtroom, like everyone in the courtroom was like, yeah, fuck this guy. The whole jury probably like decided he was guilty right then and there. Like, he may not be insane, but he's definitely not okay. And he's a danger to society.
That Mr. Puddles, though, he did cause a break between the Joker and the Arthur Fleck, because he was trying to, he was trying to be Joker and he was trying to be this, so extra. And then when he's like telling him like, yo, you made me feel so, so small, so scared. Do you know what that's like? And he hits him to his core. And that's when you see like Arthur Fleck come back, and he's like, like shit, I never meant to hurt him out of all people. And that's when you kind of start seeing him realizing, hey, his actions have consequences.
Yeah, he may not have hurt Gary, but he certainly traumatized the fuck out of him. Because like Gary told him straight up right there in the courtroom, is like, I was always nice to you, Arthur, and like I was never afraid of you until that day. And now not a day goes by where I'm worried that I think you're gonna come after me next. And he tries to assure him, is like, Gary, I told you I'd never hurt you. And like, that doesn't matter. He watched you murder a dude right in front of him. At this point, he can't trust you.
That was a great scene, though. See, that's the problem with the film, is that there's these like small great scenes, or like some like the musical numbers, like later on towards the ending with Lady Gaga, obviously only with her, but there's those later musical numbers where it's like, fuck, it's like those are great moments, and then we have these other like shit scenes or like these like endings that we didn't want. I think that's the thing
there's little bits of greatness sprinkled across the movie, and I'm like, they had something they could have cooked here.
Yeah,
and they put it at the wrong temp.
Yeah, these are the pickles, man. These are those pickles on that shit sandwich you were talking about, man.
Yeah, sweet and salty pickles.
So he kind of screws himself over, because now after doing his little Joker routine, he also talks shit about the guards while he's doing his Joker routine. He goes back to prison as Arthur Fleck, and the guards say, "Fuck you, you douchebag," including like the number one guard, who was kind of nice to him, honestly. He wasn't the biggest dick to him. He was kind of like mean to him and always asked him if he had a joke. I'm sure it's because he wanted to beat the shit out of him. But he also got him in the singing classes in the first place. He got him laid.
I want to make a comparison here. I'd say that guard liked Arthur the same way Omni-Man liked his wife. Like a pet.
Ooh, I like that.
Like, he didn't have any affection for Arthur as a person. He just kind of like dicking around with them and making fun of him. But anytime Arthur thought they were starting to get chummy, he would just smack him across the back of the head hella hard. It's like, I am not your friend.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me of my half brother growing up. He was like that. It's like, one minute I thought we were friends, then next minute he's beating me because I won in Halo. It's just, Brother Nasty being crazy.
Yeah, are you gonna go visit him in prison or what?
I'll put money on his books when that time comes, but I probably won't visit him.
I'll tell him I'm gonna put money on his books, and I never will. Try to get ramen now, bitch.
Go in there and be like, you got another joke for me, Arthur?
Oh my god. You won't even know the reference because he's behind bars, you asshole. But you fucking jerk. Wow, way to go.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. The joke is that you don't understand any of it. Here's my type 5 about current world politics, but
you wouldn't get it. That's Life Starts Playing.
My fucking beard's gonna fall off. Fuck.
So Arthur gets back to Arkham. The guards are pissed at him. They take him to the showers and they assault him. And it's implied that it's something weird and sexual, but we're not sure. But all we know is Arthur is completely degraded as a man. He's dragged back to his cell. The only guy that respects Arthur is this like goofy little kid that's also in prison. The guards get mad at him and they kill him. And then so now Arthur's back and, flash forward, Arthur's back on trial and he's not dressed up as the Joker, but Harley Quinn showed up and she dressed up as Harley Quinn because, this is my husband now, basically. This is my man.
And we're going to build a mountain.
We're going to build a mountain, whatever the fuck that means. It really is the whole, they are dogs chasing cars and they don't know what will happen when they finally get it.
Ooh, I like that.
Gotta get the lore tie in. Yeah, like if it wasn't more clear, like heavily implied what they did to Arthur, Like when they dragged him into his cell, he was basically kind of unresponsive and catatonic. He was just kind of staring off into space and just shuddering.
Yeah.
He looked so violated.
He definitely looked violated. We obviously they hid the ball enough that we don't know if they played like, hide the weasel or something with him.
No, Eric, God damn it.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what it implies. It could have been a real weasel. Who knows? I don't know.
They played rock, paper, scissors, baton. That's what they played.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so Joker shows up in court, except he's not the Joker no more. He's Arthur Fleck again. And he admits to the jury that, like, he's done doing the bits. There's no bipolar persona. There's no flashing lights, whatever. There is no Joker. It's just me. Just some guy. And then off in the background, you see Harley just get up and leave because she's so disgusted. Because she loves the Joker, not this fucking loser.
And what is she? Does Harley Quinn represent the audience from the original movie? Because I know I was disappointed. I was like, God damn it. Whether or not they intended to.
So she was Paul Schrader.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She came back and then she literally left.
Except she lasted a lot longer than he did.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So they decide he's guilty. And oh no. Then the fucking courtroom blows up for no reason, which seems like a dream sequence and it's stupid.
Yeah.
The Joker anarchists blow up the courtroom to help him escape or some shit. Joker escapes. They throw him in a car and try to take off. But then Arthur's like realizes he wants nothing to do with these anarchists. So he just hops out of the car and makes a run for it. Runs into Harley staying on the Joker stairs. And he tries to like run away and elope with her. And then she is like, no, fuck you. You're not the Joker. And then she just leaves his ass. And then he gets arrested because the cops tracked him down.
That's the first time she calls him Arthur as well, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Damn. They didn't do the scene though. They didn't do the thing where they walk down the stairs and they're dancing. I'm mad. But anyways.
Oh yeah. A lot of people were mad about that.
Oh, I wanted to see that. I know. I just realized about that. How did they know? Wait, how did Arthur know to go there? How did Harley Quinn know to be there? And then how did the police know to go there for it?
What would Han Solo say?
It's not that kind of movie.
We need to have that as like as a button that we just press.
I know. It's not that kind of movie, bud.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a contrived coincidence that she would be there. There was like some speculation that was just like a little bit in his head that didn't actually happen. But like, I think they said like, no, that conversation was real. She did show up there. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of hard to even make up a headcanon for like why all those people managed to show up at that exact spot. I think those were the stairs outside his original apartment, so he was probably heading home.
Yeah, maybe she had stopped by. She probably was stopping by to either pick stuff up and leave, or she lives there technically because she had set it up.
Maybe. I don't know.
All I know is he gets caught by the police. They are going to be like, well, we're going to execute you, bud. Let's throw you back in Arkham for a little while before we electrocute you, you fucking idiot. And then this guy who has kind of been sitting in the background this whole time with like a smirk on his face while Joker's going around. I think Joker's getting taken somewhere. The guy pulls him to the side. And he's like, hey, can I tell you something?
I got a joke for you.
I got a joke for you, Arthur. Can I tell you about it? And then, I mean, I'm not really sure how the joke goes, but the punchline is the same punchline as it was with Murray. And it's, you get what you fucking deserve. And the guy stabs the fuck out of him.
Now, I remember how it goes. He said something along the lines of, so there's this guy who is like a really famous comedian or something. He goes to this bar and a fan sees him and he's like so drunk and washed up and like, wow, this guy's such a fucking loser or something. So this guy goes up to him and offers to like get him some. He was like, I'm gonna give you what you fucking deserve, and then he like murders him.
Yep, and he kills him right then and there, and then ultimately that's the end of the fucking movie, and you're not satisfied. You're super disappointed. I guess he did get what he deserved.
And the joke is a commentary on like his idolization of the Joker.
I know you guys are disappointed. Yeah, so this is what we're trying to tell you guys. Like
we watch it so you don't have to.
This is Watch Mojo. Don't watch this. Okay, so I guess my final question is, I mean, we already discussed this is not the Joker. Was there any value in this depiction of the Joker? Or this depiction of a human individual? You know, is it just like, what the fuck is what is the value here? What are we supposed to get out of this? Don't murder people and idolize anarchy? I get it. I don't know. Like, thanks, Mr. Hangover. Thank you for telling us that. After you made the Hangover movies and we idolized those three idiots for going out and getting so drunk on a fucking bachelor party that they don't remember what happened the next day. So choose your messages, you moron.
Maybe the moral is don't let psycho girls who let you hit convince you to make bad life decisions.
Oh boy,
Not a bad moral. Not a bad moral.
have we all been there? I think the first one was like, wasn't it like, you know, to take mental health serious, and that how it can lead you astray and you could do all these fucked up things or whatever. But the second one, I don't. Was that supposed to be punishment for the first one? Like, I don't get what their message was supposed to be on this one. It just felt like they were just giving me a finger.
Did you make your alimony payment this month? The PapaNasty lore for no reason. But no, I agree. I know we're just making up lore about you. This is great. But no, I totally see where you're coming from. The first one had some value. It had some messages. This one just feels like a message shoved in your face, and it seems relatively valueless. So that sucks ass. And I can't wait for us to watch a better movie, guys. Transformers. Can't wait to do that one.
But that's just a theory.
You want to ask us the big question just to wrap this shit up? Because fuck this movie.
Guys, I'm sorry, but do you?
He's not going to even ask if we vouch for him because he already knows.
I don't vouch for myself. So, do you vouch? I don't even know how to ask this.
Mama Nasty was probably like, you're not picking the movie next time.
Yeah, so watch, marry, kill. What are we thinking?
Kill.
I'll give it what it fucking deserves.
Nice. This isn't your fault, okay? The vouchers. PapaNasty has great taste in movies. If we ever do, when we do our favorite movies, every now and then we pick a movie, and that's what we do for the film. Great choices. We went and saw this on opening day. We thought this is our fucking way to get to stardom. We're gonna watch this great movie. We're gonna do an episode on it, and we're gonna be good. Turns out it was shit, and we could wait 3 weeks to post because it doesn't matter because everyone hates this movie anyways.
Yeah, this was this hurt us. We had to redo this because we were just like, fuck. How do we do a good pod on a bad movie?
We had
like
zero
this?
motivation to do a pod on a movie we didn't care for.
Literally after this movie, me and Eric West were saw with our chicas, and it just killed our night. We didn't go and party afterwards. We all just went to the room and just fucking had one last nightcap and had sad intercourse with our chicas.
With our chicas watching. Whoa, hey.
Did they put the makeup on you first?
Yeah. On the Patreon. Watch it here, folks.
Here's your Joker makeup since you wanted to be a clown tonight.
God damn. I actually did piss off my girlfriend that night though, because I don't know why, but what it turned into was we were on vacation for 10 days before we saw this movie. Yeah, we're having time of our life drinking, but when me and PapaNasty get together, we're just out here, you know, making all these stupid jokes, roasting anyone who we catch in our eyesight. And I kept roasting my girlfriend for no reason.
Oh no.
I know. I thought it was funny, but obviously she laughed a couple times, but probably like day 7, she's like, this is getting fucking old. And so, yeah, so she pulled me aside and she's like, can we not do this anymore? And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, all right. I was even feeling like those jokes were stale. So thank you so much for.
In your defense, but I'm biased, she was always giving us great material to make jokes and like just giving all this. It's like, come on, Mrs. West, what are you doing here? And do you want to tell the fans the joke that you did after the?
No.
You want to tell? Just tell them.
Wait, about which one? After the movie or?
Yeah, after the movie.
I don't know. I think I snapped her bra. And then I said something stupid. Like, I don't even remember. You want to hear a joke or something? I don't know what I was doing. I was just going with it. It was dumb.
We're waiting for our Uber, and I hear Eric talking to his chica, and he's like, "You want to hear a joke?" And then me and Mama Nasty are talking about, fucking who knows, like something I did wrong. And I hear, whoosh. We're like, "What the heck?" And she's like, "Eric!" It was just like she storms away. Eric is laughing his ass off.
I'm such an idiot. I was dumb, guys.
I seen it just in the nick of time. I'm laughing my ass off. Mama Nasty's like, what the fuck? And yeah. And then we were both in trouble.
That's how we get. So anyways, guys, don't watch this movie or your girlfriend will fight you. So yeah, that's the moral of the story. This has nothing to do with my actions, but my choices in movies. So next up on the plate is probably Transformers. I think we're planning on see it ASAP so we can do an episode on it because that seems kind of hype, doesn't it?
Looks so good.
Yeah, there's this account run by this guy on Twitter that's shilling for the movie so hard, and anytime people were talking about how shit Joker was, this guy would pop up in the mentions underneath it saying, you know what movie didn't suck and what movie is still like going plus on its box office run.
It worked though, because it got Abel in. So and now I'm in and PapaNasty are in. I bet it'll be hype. I need just like a nice, fun little movie to watch after that. I don't want any emotional ramifications of someone's actions. I just want, I want there to be conflict and I want there to be a great resolution and I want to go home being inspired by Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Or are you going to become a revolutionary like Megatron?
Let's see what happens, guys. But you'll find out next time on Vouch for Me. Guys, I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for listening to the pod. We're going to be firing up and doing some fun new things. You guys will hear about it. You guys will see it. Potentially some TV shows. Who knows? This is our thing. We have fun, but we love you very much.
Thank you guys.
See y'all
later.
Bye.